We're gonna make some breakfast sandwiches. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. No bland sausage. This is very satisfying. Syrup's going in. We're gonna use fresh 10 million times in this video. Ta-da! Ready? Bam. Today I'm making breakfast sandwiches from scratch. These are the perfect on-the-go breakfast sandwiches. English muffins, sausage, egg, and cheese. You cannot go wrong with that. So this is a store-bought breakfast sandwich. This is something you usually find in the freezer out. I'm always traveling and on the go. I'm doing something at all times. So something like this is really nice to have. Just throw it in the microwave and it's ready. It's got an English muffin, sausage, we have some eggs, and then we have some cheese. Like it gets the job done. I taste the egg, taste the English muffin. It's not completely fluffy like a homemade one. The sausage, you know, taste the sausage. It is perfectly round. This, well, not anymore. It's whatever this is. So this is what we want to hit today. We want to make it look like store-bought but better. Today we're gonna make a breakfast sandwich from scratch. What I want to see is a fluffy English muffin. You know, when you boom boom, you know, fluffy. We're gonna have a better egg experience. I feel like I'm getting 60% egg at this store-bought. Like, I want my egg to be more eggy. I want it to be a little richer. So for the sausage, we want the sausage to taste fresh, you know, store-bought. Kind of has like that maple, maybe like fake, like pancake syrup vibe to it. We want it to taste fresh, you know, with fresh herbs, fresh spices, everything fresh. And I'm also going to be making a batch of them so I can show you guys how to store them in the freezer so you don't have to have the store-bought. You can have your own frozen breakfast sandwiches. This definitely has a little bit of labor to it, but I promise you at the end of the day, you're going to love it. Let's make some breakfast sandwiches. So for these breakfast sandwiches, I'm going to start with my English muffin dough just because it takes the longest. We want the longest to get out the way. First step, we have our bowl of flour, and we're just going to add our salt into the flour. The English muffin's not going to be salty, but just having salt in a good recipe balances it out. For our wet ingredients, we have some milk, water, butter. Wet ingredients are going to go into this pot. We're just going to let this heat up till the butter is nice and melted. We don't want it hot or it's going to kill the yeast. First time I made English muffins was in high school in my culinary program, and then I made them again, what year are we in? 2025? So I made them like 2 years ago. I haven't made them since. They are so time consuming. However, that is why we're making them in a batch, so we could just throw them in the freezer, and then whenever we want them, we just slap them on the table, whatever. Oh, let's make sure it's, okay, it's good. So we're just gonna pour our little mixture into this cup, add 1 egg yolk, add the yeast, mix it up. Okay, we're gonna let this sit so the yeast can activate. We'll know it's ready when it's nice and foamy and frothy at the top. That's what we want. So now we're gonna add our wet ingredients into the flour. And now we just mix. We don't wanna over mix it because we still want it to be nice and light and fluffy. When baking anything, you do want to be very precise about the measurements. However, the weather or climate, wherever you are, it is going to have some effect on your baking. Somewhere really dry and cold, you might need to add a little bit more water. But say you're somewhere really humid. Say you live in Florida, your dough might be a little too sticky, so you need to add a little bit more flour. It really just depends on your climate. Now I'm just going to take my hand, get all the flour that's off on the side. It looks light and it feels light. This is exactly what we want. Nice, light, fluffy. The dough is gonna be a little sticky, that's what we want. So now we have a greased bowl and we're just gonna put our dough into the bowl. And there we go, dough baby number, I don't know. Whoever's editing this, maybe you'll know. My guess is 9, maybe 9. Maybe dough baby number 9. So now we're just gonna cover it and then put it in the fridge overnight. Since that's gonna be resting in the fridge, we're gonna get started on our sausage. So before we actually form our sausage patties, we have to marinate our pork because this is gonna be nice and seasoned. And we're also gonna marinate overnight so it's gonna be even more infused with all these beautiful flavors. It's gonna taste delicious. For our sausage, we are using pork shoulder. It is already cut up, ready to use. And as you can see, this white stuff, it's fat. We like fat. Fat is flavor. Now we're gonna start seasoning, my favorite part. We are gonna start with some garlic powder. Next is some onion powder, some coriander, some dried sage, some parsley, oregano, and a little bit of cayenne because it is breakfast. We don't want to start too spicy. Next, we have some maple syrup because we still want that breakfasty taste, but again, we want it to be nice and fresh. And then just a little bit of white vinegar. Last but not least, salt and pepper. Not too much salt, and some pepper. Alright, so now we're just gonna mix it up and make sure all the flavor gets all over the pork because we want the flavor to infuse the pork, especially overnight. It smells really good too. All nice and seasoned. You can see there's seasoning all over the pork. We're gonna throw it in the fridge with our dough baby, and both of them are gonna sit overnight. All of that flavor is gonna like just pierce it. And then once it's ready, we're just gonna grind it up and form our little patties. Our dough baby sat overnight, so now we're gonna work on forming our English muffins. Yeah, that was a little too aggressive. Smells like yeast. We're gonna lightly flour a surface because the dough is gonna be a little bit sticky, so it's gonna be easier for us to work with if we have a floured surface. Putting our dough on the floured surface. A little bit more flour, not too much, not too much. So now we're not rolling it, we're gonna really just press it and using our hands to form it. I'm trying to stay aligned with the parchment paper being like a rectangle, so trying to do like a nice even rectangle. I'm also gonna keep my flour on hand just in case it gets too sticky. I'm gonna put my cutter, yes, that's the word. And now we're just gonna form little English muffin circles. And I didn't space it the best way, but it's okay because you can just reform the dough, like the extra dough, and get more English muffins out of it. We got it. All right, don't throw this away. We're gonna do the same thing, just with this dough. So now I have my semolina flour, and I'm just going to lightly put it on this parchment paper. That's like that little grainy stuff that you see on top of the English muffins. It's semolina flour. And we're just gonna take our little cut out English muffin dough, and we're just gonna put it on the parchment paper. So we're gonna space them out pretty evenly, give them some space because they're gonna proof and then fluff up, and we don't want them to touch and stick together. So once you're done cutting out all your English muffins, we're gonna cover it and let it proof till it's nice and double in size. And then with your extra dough, you're literally doing the same exact thing, just multiple times. So now we are gonna grind up our pork. It smells good. It smells like it's been marinating because it has. So this right here, it's a meat grinder. If you don't have a meat grinder, that's okay because you can just go to the store and buy ground pork and then season it however you like. All right, we're gonna do the low setting just so it goes nice and slow and just shove our meat in there. See? Ground pork. I can like see the shot in my head, like what that view looks like. I like to ground up meat, like when I'm making cheeseburgers, I like to ground up my own meat. It's nice and fresh. We're gonna use fresh 10 million times in this video. I have yet to make like homemade sausage in my new house. All right, we're gonna get rid of this. Pork is all grounded up. We have a little cutter we're just gonna use to help form our patties. If you don't have one, that's okay. You just form it with your hand and make a little circle. So this isn't the same size that we use for the English muffin. We do wanna make our sausage patties a little bit bigger than our English muffins just because when we cook them, the meat is gonna shrivel up. So these are all done, and the next part's the best part because we're literally just cooking it and assembling it and then eating it. So now the unveiling of the beautiful English muffin dough. See? They got nice and fluffy. The English muffins, we cook them on the stovetop. We don't cook them like in the oven or anything. I'm gonna be using this griddle. This griddle is big enough for me to cook the English muffins, the sausage, and the eggs at the same time. So less dishes and I can focus on everything because it's all right in front of me. So we are gonna have it on low medium. I'm gonna start by making the English muffins first because they take the longest to cook. We are gonna cover these with the pan because the steam helps them rise and becomes a little bit more fluffy. So we're just gonna cover them with the pan. We're gonna cook these on both sides, so I'm gonna check on these in a little bit to flip them. Now we're gonna work on our egg part of the sandwich. So we're gonna do that like classic steamed egg that we have in the store-bought, but we're gonna make it taste a little bit better. We have some eggs. We're just cracking the eggs into a bowl and then whisking it up. You're gonna get your nutrition. It's gonna be a nice, rich egg. Whisk it up good. We want it to be nice incorporated, nice fluffy. Just gonna hit it with some salt and pepper. All right. Before I cook the eggs, I'm gonna check on the English muffins. Okay, we're just gonna flip them. Oh yeah, that looks beautiful. You know, English muffins are always a little burnt for some reason, so. To make the perfect little like egg circle patties, we have again the little cutters. Same size as the English muffins, so we have everything nice and even. I'm just gonna spray a little bit. I'm gonna make sure this side of the pan is hot enough. Eggs going in. Now I'm gonna grab a lid and I'm just gonna cover our egg molds so our eggs steam up. Now we're gonna check on our English muffins. They are looking pretty good to me. Wait. You know I like my ASMR. Okay, so now we're gonna cook our sausage because we're like 80% done right now. Nice sizzle, like that's no added sound effect, that's real. We don't have to add any oil because of the fat in there. While our sausage and eggs are cooking, we're gonna open up our English muffins so we can have them ready to assemble. To do this, you're just gonna take a fork, pierce it a little bit, and then you're kind of like twisting the fork at the same time. We're using a fork instead of a knife because the knife will kind of get rid of like the light fluffiness, so the fork is helping us like maintain the light and fluffiness of the English muffin. And the crumb structure. Ready? Ready? Bam. Beautiful. Does that look good? Look at that. Beautiful. This is if you're gonna cut it open with a knife, this is the comparison. We don't want flat, we want fluffy. Time to flip our patties. Bam. That's a good one right there. Some smell like it was burning. Anyway, the eggs, they're nice and fluffy how we like it, and they're pretty set, so we're gonna take them off. Ta-da! Take a spatula underneath. Plop it down there. I'm taking our egg out of the mold. Right after the eggs are out, we're gonna put the cheese on top so the cheese melts. We are ready to assemble now because our sausage is all done. In no particular order, do what you like, but I'm gonna put the sausage on the bottom. You might be an egg bottom type of person. Our egg and cheese on top. We have the top of our English muffin. Bam. I'm gonna show you how to wrap and store these in your freezer. All right, so we have some parchment paper and we have some foil parchment papers just so it doesn't get like sticky and stuff. Putting the sandwich on there, you're just wrapping it. And you can wrap them after you're done assembling them and just let them cool down a little bit before you wrap them up so they're not like really hot. And then you're just gonna put it in a plastic bag, airtight, and you're just gonna throw it in the freezer. So when you're ready to use it, when it's out of the freezer, you can take off the foil, put it in the microwave for like 1 to 2 minutes, or you can put it in the oven with the foil on until it's nice and hot. All right, so this is my beautiful sandwich. It's definitely a lot bigger than the store-bought, but she's so cute, and I'm gonna cut it open just because I wanna bite right into it. Ta-da! Look at that thick egg, look at the sausage. Look how juicy the sausage is. You can actually see the cheese, and then just like look how fluffy the English muffin is. It's looking real good. Taste test. That's good. I like that. Sausage is nice and seasoned. You can see the seasoning in the sausage as well. And I can taste it too. I could taste, not every single seasoning, but I could taste the seasoning inside of it. The egg is definitely, I get more eggy. I don't taste watered down egg. It's a better egg experience. It tastes like fresh bread, fresh yeast. Bouncy. Hit it every need that I wanted in an English muffin. I give it an 11 out of 10 for the effort, time, and then the freshness of it. And now that you guys know how to make English muffins, you can customize it to however you want. You don't have to do sausage, you can do bacon, you don't even need meat on it. You can do endless things with an English muffin. If you like this video and you want to see more recipes like this, follow Bite for more. And this was From Scratch with Tini. I'm Tini. Love y'all.